of Indians who want to come back. This is exclusive of the short-term returnees. I have gone there for 2 years, I'm doing some per diem to something else, I'm working in San Diego, I'm working in Maryland. I want to come back here anyway, so I'm also addressed if I'm sitting there with an office. So what we are finding is this, that you want to call it speculation, you can call it that if you like. They are finding this to be a safer avenue to park, but then they are of course, using diligence and judgment on where they will put in terms of place. That is, if you take these say 5 regions, NCR, Bombay, Hyderabad, Chennai and Bangalore, you will find that they call, sometimes it's emotional because I belong to the place, sometimes it's because friends tell me that it's secure in terms of investment stability to put it in some other region. So this kind of matrix is also coming into sort of play here.
Actually, we would like to define, and when we talk speculators,
Yep.
we are talking about the people who come, invest 10%, 20%, exit. They're trading. They're actually trading in the market.
We don't have any of
That is the investor we're talking about.
If you're defining that, it's an emphatic no. I think
I don't think Bangalore is an investor-driven market.
Absolutely.
Delhi is, NCR is.
Yeah.
It's mostly that. You sell 400 apartments. We launched a project there called Gurgaon One. It went in 3 days. Right. There's another project we launched in Borivali, Rivali Park. We had to call the police in. This is about 1.5 years back before we landed in the situation.
Sir, in a location like North Bangalore, Devanhalli, Hebel, Yelahanka, a lot of people say that the people who are moving in first in these locations and they are putting their money, they are investors. Isn't it?
No, so not so.
No.
Not in the North Bangalore.
Not.
We are there. We have put out about.
I think the city is shifting. I won't call it the center of the city, but every city it evolves.
Commercial districts.
It evolves.
So Whitefield has become its own place now.
Yeah, so
now Marthalli Ring Road has become its own city center. Sajapur Road is becoming another destination.
Yeah.
I mean, this Hebal and Hebal Ring Road is becoming another destination. Yelahanka is becoming another destination. So I don't see Yelahanka, we are handing over about 500 units approximately. I don't see any people are going to live there and travel from it.
No, inherently people expect when they make a real estate investment, inherently there's a capital appreciation angle to it. I mean, whether it's for the end use or no. So point that just because somebody is buying in Hebal, I mean, they might see a value in it, that there's a likely appreciation that's going to happen, given that it's maybe a lot of factors have not yet been, a lot of things have not been factored into. People might have a perception that now, let's say a Sajapur outer ring road. I mean, maybe it's sort of peaked, So now entering now at this point, maybe there's not much headroom left, So that might be a decision, but I don't think it's really a fellow who is buying in Hebal today is actually speculating on the market itself. He believes there's a value proposition in buying there, and he might be a first mover really there.
it's also the budget. He wouldn't mind traveling, let's say 45 minutes if he's able to save 20 lakhs today. He doesn't have the money. So it's also the budget. Let's face this side, the prices are much higher. Sajapur is much higher.
By and large, what is the age group of the buyer today in Bangalore? In different parts, if North Bangalore?
To put it as in pun, I bought my first house when I was 42. Okay, my son is going to buy a house when he's 28. So the complete demographic change in this country is colossal. We are going through an upheaval. Let's face it. I said some time back we are not very rich, but we are not poor either. We are moving from the lower middle class to the middle class level. So it's basically the yuppies who are buying it now.
So just to take from what he just said, basically somebody who at 28 is buying an apartment today, is buying a 2-bedroom apartment, basically a nice apartment for himself. But the same person is actually likely to buy at 42 or 45, maybe a villa or a high-end apartment. And that is where the appreciation will be seen. So basically they see the appreciation. It's not that the appreciation is not there. All weighted average figures are saying it's at about 4,500 rupees. So I'm certain that there is an appreciation which is happening in the market, and people who buy keep that in mind. But they don't buy because they're going to sell after 3 years when the project gets completed.
So it's a great asset class to invest.
Yes.
Real estate, no question about it.
How much of your portfolio should be real estate? If you were looking at a complete, as one of your assets.
If you left it to me, I'll do 100%.
I'll go back to a report that I saw in the Economic Times maybe some 2 months ago. Jewelry bought in India per annum is at about 325,000 crores. Building industry assets bought in India every year is at some 215 or 212,000 crores, if I remember that report right. So you are at least a third less. So I don't know which asset class the consumer prefers.
Again, it depends on what is your requirement. Are you looking at a monthly income? Are you looking at a long-term appreciation.
Absolutely.
That also matters a lot.
While, you mentioned that in real estate you are looking at a long-term appreciation, capital value appreciation, but while you wait for that capital to appreciate in value, are you, what percentage of
Exactly.
users look at the rental
I think it's a
return?
very, very deep question that Jayashree is asking. I'll put it like this to you. You go to China today, you know the kind of massive correction that happened last year and the year before. Do you want something like that to happen to these 4 regions? 3 regions, NCR, Bombay and Bangalore, because they're the fastest growing. See, if as an industry, we are not going to watch this and see that we are not expecting our clients to be rewarded with capital appreciation as being one of the factors, I think we will have taken enough steps to hedge that kind of a risk coming our way. Yeah. So I think
If
that's
I
the context.
rephrase the question, as developers, are you facilitating your buyers to get rental,
Oh, yes.
get rental
Yes,
occupancy in residential?
That should be the primary concern.
Yes.
Murli said, as developers, if it appreciates fast, we are happy. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
If it goes in a breakneck speed, you are bound to be in a cliff.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very steep fall. So rather, I said third gear, last 2 to 3 years. That is a better situation to be than in appreciation which is very, very rapid, which is not good for me, which once it appreciates, it's going to stop. And another 2-3 years is going to be a real drama for the developer.
Yes.
So I would rather be continuously happy rather than up and down.
Okay, I'll take this question one step further. What are the infrastructure drivers that actually drive your capital value appreciation, and what is it that you as developers can do so that your rental values remain high within your complexes? Because today it no longer is a developer building and exiting and walking off. I think a lot of developers are actually looking at long-term value for their buyers. If that is so, what is it that the consumer should look at? That the infrastructure projects are coming in, therefore I buy now, and it will all be in place. And within the complex, how do you ensure that the rental values remain high?
So to give an answer, look at Dwarka Expressway. What it has done to Dwarka. I don't know how many are familiar with Dwarka. It has changed the map of that place. So infrastructure is a big driver, let's face it. If you don't have any schools, you don't have hospitals, you don't have marketing, nobody's going to go and stay there. Even if you had a road. So infrastructure is the driver.
And between
He's talking about Dwarka, Gurgaon for that matter. 15 years back, there was no Gurgaon. It was only the central Delhi, Rajendra Nagar, South Delhi, GK. Now
You had Sector 1.
Yeah, Sector 1.
DLF phase 1.
Then
There was only phase 1.
Then that in 25 minutes you could reach the center of Delhi, then this part, that is the infrastructure.
I can tell you, DLF had a small bus which used to take you, take people to CP, to Connaught Place. That's how it was about 22 years back. DLF.
Yes.
having said that, yeah.
So we had IT, which was one of the large triggers for Bangalore as a market for many years right now. So really, if I can ask you a question. So
Before you go there, let me make another observation, to supplement what you said earlier. If you were to look at, say, Bangalore 2020, what is the scenario? You look at Bombay today, at another meeting recently of BAI, this time in Bombay, there are a couple of members who come and give me cards and say they are talking to redevelopment. Now I said, excuse me. Now Bandra is opening up before the creek, it's opening up for redevelopment. If you look at Bangalore today, the CBD at Sadashiv Nagar has become CBD. I don't know what is CBD in this country, not in the city. I'm saying if you see the pressure that the center will take, let's say the radius of about 7 kilometers, you'll begin to see that there will be prospects of such redevelopment by about, my hunch is about 7 years from now. I don't know, you can disagree with me if you like. The other is that, there must be something we need to do if we want to actually provide housing for people, by 2020 that is, for people who are earning less than 10 to 15,000 a month. How do you do that without monetizing land? He talked about affordable housing being a kind of a passing fad, 2008 and now, no buzz, just now left there in that segment. But then if you ask a Jerry, you ask a Ramesh or somebody else, you ask a Naresh, they will tell you that, look, the market is not getting driven. And I tell them, look, that's the reason I didn't get in there. So how do you get to not monetizing land, getting the government or somebody else, or maybe this NASSCOM-like body, which begins to talk to the government and say, okay, you have got, in Bangalore just now, BBMP has got 8,000 acres of land which comes under them, parks also being 4,200 or 4,300 acres being parks. I'm saying don't, get down to ruining the parks. Take those other lands. Find a way of, kind of making a bid. There was this lady called Shobha Nambisi who was Principal Housing Secretary at one point in time, and we said, Parik Bhai was there at the time, and we said, look, you give us some of these lands of lease, you float a tender. Go back to builders. Tell them, look, I'm willing to give you, let us say, 10,000 square meters or 50,000 square meters in areas. And you come back with a proposition on how you will build. Construction cost being yours, construction margin alone being yours. No land arbitrage allowed now. Price arbitrage you want to do, go ahead and do it if you've got the money to put it and wait.